The title says it all. When guns go boom. So I got the feeling we're in for a treat. Well, yes. Honestly, I did. That lawsuit, I am surprised that it was only a couple 100,000. That does surprise me that the dollar amount was that low, considering how there may have been multiple parties offended by this. Blacklisted, yes. Life sentence, I'm not gonna say life sentence. Only because what she did was horrible, and it should carry a hefty sentence, like maybe 20 years. I'm not gonna say life, but I will say time in prison for assault, multiple counts of assault, the felony assault, and barred from medical practice for life. Absolutely. But enough of the hard stuff. Let us finish out the stream with a laugh. And let us watch us some Scott. Are we ready to watch him blow some shit up? Alright, Scott. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, it does. Now, who knows? As things go on, I may start streaming longer if I can maybe start early or something, depending on how things go. For right now, I'm sticking to 4-hour streams, but like everything, it may change. Oh no!
Not gonna go around nothing. You got to go around things. I'll make them mowers like they used to. What's up, everybody? My name is Scott, and you're watching Kentucky Ballistics. And here on the channel, we have tested a lot of guns to failure, but there was one gun that has been requested a lot, and that is a Bullpup rifle. Well, what is a Bullpup? Well, this is a standard AR-15. When I am aiming with this, the magazine is in front of the trigger group, and so is the bolt and the chamber. It's all right in front of my face right here. But with a Bullpup, it's a little bit different. So this is my Heresy Design AUG 300 Blackout, and this is a Bullpup rifle. You'll notice when I aim,
it's famous in Die Hard. Remember, I forget the character's name. He used an AUG bullpup rifle. That's where they first really came into prominence in cinema.
it is different. The mag well is behind the trigger group, and the bolt and the chamber are all right here, very close to my face. So the question is, if you have a catastrophic failure with a Bullpup rifle, is it going to be worse than a standard rifle, or did they beef?
Yeah, it is. That is a very clean rifle. It's very pretty. It is very pretty looking.
These things up enough that you will be protected. There's only one way to find out, but before we do that, let's have a little bit of fun. First up, we're going to do a mag dump. I've got 20 rounds of subsonic 300 Blackout.
Wow, that's a good silencer on that thing. Or a suppressor. That's a good suppressor. Wow. I'm wondering if he even needs to wear hearing protection. It doesn't look like he's wearing any. Interesting. Are you guys noticing the amount of force that he was experiencing when the bolt was rechambering a new round? That was. Let me back that up a little bit. Watch his shoulder here. Watch this section of the gun in his shoulder. Yeah, it sounds like a 22. That's because of the suppressor. But watch his shoulder and watch the stock. With Wait, when you can see the bolts rechamber another round. That's an interesting side component because you're not going to get that on a regular like AR-15. When you fire the AR-15, the you'll feel the impact of the bolt slamming backwards. And, but when the bolt returns forward and chambers a fresh round, it's all in the hands. So your arms are absorbing it, so you're not actually going to be seeing that jump to a degree. But with the Bullpup, because the bolt is effectively in the stock, you can actually see the amount of force coming from the bolt rechambering that round in the stock and in his shoulder versus it being more centralized into the weapon. Because I haven't actually seen a bullpup fired like that before, like really fired in close up like that before. That's kind of fascinating, where you're seeing the redistribution of weight and force.
That is awesome.
Well, yeah, I imagine so because again, the all of the mechanical workings of the bolts, the magazine, the ejection cover, it's all in the stock itself, so you don't have that large degree of buffer that you get with other rifle stocks they're specifically to absorb the recoil. So you basically have nothing absorbing the recoil before it's going into your shoulder. Some good hits.
Oh, looks like it made it. You survived another video.
There's the table.
I missed. So on today's menu, we have a quite lovely selection. I have 2 gallons of glue. I have a 5-gallon water jug. At last, I have some mayonnaise that has been sitting a little too long.
Yeah, that mayonnaise has been sitting for a very long time. Who's hungry? Anybody want some mayo? Nice, liquidy, yellowed, separated mayo? Mmm, yummy.
I mean, that is just disgusting. That makes me want to throw up. I mean, mayonnaise is pretty gross already, but it's definitely not supposed to look like that. The next time you put mayonnaise on your sandwich, I want you to think about this.
Thank you, Scott.
If I had ammo, that would probably help.
Yes, Elder's love it. Thanks for joining the chat. I hope you're having a fun time.
Let's try again, shall we? I'm gonna go 5-gallon first.
Nice, nice. Nice, nice. Very nice.
I don't know who sighted this gun in, but it definitely wasn't me. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get to the scientific testing. We are not going to push an AUG to failure today because I wanted something a little bit bigger. This is a Kel-Tec RFB 308 bullpup rifle. So we're going to get this loaded in our lead sled here. I'm sure you've noticed that I changed my attire, and that's
Lutel? There is not enough money in the world to make me drink that mayo water. I don't care if you give me 1,000,000 subs or spend a few 100,000 biddies. I am not drinking that mayo water. I think Keltec gets kind of a bad rap. I think they make some pretty good guns. Keltec has always been thought of as really like cheap, crappy weapons, but I think they've really turned it around over the years, and they actually make some pretty decent firearms from what I've seen.
because I'm not taking any chances today when it comes to loading this thing. I have a Ballistic Dummy Labs zombie bus that I will be placing on the rifle in a shooting position, and then I have a very spicy round for this Bullpup. Normal operating pressures for a 308 are 62,000 psi. Well, this little guy right here is going to be cranking out upwards of 300,000 psi. That's so spicy meatball! Now for the sketchy part. Actually loading it. That looks good, don't it? Okay, we'll go ahead and get that in the magazine well. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this guy up here.
That almost feels like he's working with a bomb. Like he's worried that like you breathe on it funny and it's gonna explode in your face.
That looks pretty good. Okay. Looks like all I have to do now is chamber it.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, right? Oh. Oh, alrighty then.
Let's take a look. Is there any brown? Any brown stains?
Always get nervous when I do that. Okay, all that's left to do is to pull the string. But before I do that, you should totally hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna squat down right here. Here we go.
That didn't
That
sound.
was an interesting sound.
Oh. Wow. It looks like the majority though is just the plastic. Honestly, like you say ouchie, but it looks like, hang on. It's hard to tell from the angle. Alright, let me slow it down even further. Yeah, it looks like, cause that's the frame of the weapon right there. Probably the bolt, the bolt carrier. You got the stock there, and it seems like it was the plastic surrounding all of that, basically making up the stock that wet. The frame seems to be intact. Yeah, so you can see a little more clearly here. That's the frame. Yeah, it's getting. I mean, you're gonna hurt, but it's not as explosive as I would have expected. You know, like I would have expected maybe the parts of the internal workings. Now, this thing is blocking a lot of it, so there could be a lot we're not seeing, but still hard to see through the smoke. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely gonna be hurting, but we're not seeing, at least from this angle, any catastrophic damage to the dummy.
Okay, moment of truth. He's on the ground. That's never good. I tell you what, you look first, and then I'll look after that. Is it bad? I feel like it's bad. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. Let's have a look at that. So Mr. Zombie here is on the ground. Oh. And, well, other than this piece being broken off, he doesn't look that bad.
Maybe.
Huh.
Yeah, he
Got
does.
one little mark right there.
Okay.
And a little split right there. But that's probably from him falling. Let's have a look at the rifle. Oh, wow. Okay. So the top part of this gun is actually pretty beefy.
No
It's like
kidding.
metal. And it looks like everything blew out the bottom. We got tons of pieces up here.
Yeah, so it looks like the plastic housing, like, you know, that thick plastic housing here that the magazine would fit into and basically functioned like the stock, looks like that's what got blown out. It looks like the guts here, the bolts, the bolt carrier, you know, all of that, at least from this side, looks like it's still intact. Like, there's this piece that's hanging down. I'm wondering if this is just like a stabilizing piece or some kind of a joining piece for the stock. Like, I'm always wondering if the only thing you need to do is just fit a new stock onto it.
And it looks like everything blew out the bottom. We got tons of pieces up here. That's like a piece of the stock.
Yeah.
Just all the plastic pieces exploded, including the magazine. But other than that, I feel like this gun held together pretty good.
It did?
Almost like they prepared for something like this, you know, since it is closer to your face. Let's see if we can get this thing apart.
And actually, that kind of makes sense. What we watching? We're watching Scott blowing up Bullpup rifles. But yeah, you know, that's like you saw that the top of the rifle was, yeah, I would like to see the bolt too. But based on how the top of the rifle looked, it's actually not all that surprising that the dummy didn't really take any damage because, as Scott was saying, it looked like the explosion was downward. The weapon exploded downward, and the upward part, I guess, is made so solidly, it deflected all that energy downward. Yeah, you might have gotten some concussive force. You know, an explosion like that, you're not avoiding everything. But it seems like with the Keltec, they, you know, you're out of weapon. I doubt you could just slap in another magazine and keep shooting it, but you know, other than getting a really bad ringing in your ears and maybe a headache, I don't think you're actually gonna get hurt from something like that.
But first, okay, so I disassembled our Keltec Bullpup, and I have to tell you, I'm actually quite impressed. Your face would have been okay, but it blew everything downward. So your arm, like your forearm and your hand, may have been shredded, but at least your face would still look pretty. The trigger group still looks good.
Well, technically he didn't flip it, he just lifted it. It's called using, you know, using physics. You know, the table's on a fulcrum. All you have to do is just tip it up a little bit in the positioning of the cinder blocks. You know, gravity and physics will take care of the rest and tip it over. Yeah, he's obviously really strong. Probably wouldn't take him all that much, you know, wouldn't probably be all that difficult for him to lift that table just a couple degrees north, and then gravity takes over and sends it the rest of the way with him giving it a little push along the way.
Good, but back here where the hammer and everything sets is completely thrashed. Our barrel is not bulged. I did put a squib in there to create literally the worst scenario possible, and the barrel seems to be pretty good. I don't really see any bulges, and it did not clear the squib. There is a lot of junk in here where you can see where it all detonated. Then we have this cover right here. This is the top piece of the gun, and you can see it is pretty bulged, but
Yeah.
it retained pretty much everything inside it. And then right here is your bolt, and you can see it is just completely mangled.
Oof. Yes, and the bolt is screwed. So, Enzio, you wanted to see that bolt. There's the bolt. That bolt is pretty screwed. Yeah, not surprising. I mean, if the bolt had not taken serious damage, I would have been shocked. Like, that would have been an indicator that, holy crap, this is a really well-made gun.
Angled. I mean, all things considered, it handled it really well. This was the worst case scenario, and you would most likely never experience this. It's like a 99.999999% chance this would never happen to you unless somebody literally sabotaged you. And even then, looks like your right arm and your forearm would probably be pretty shredded, but your face would be okay. You know, people kind of make fun of Kel-Tec, but this was pretty solid. What other guns would you like to see tested to failure on When Guns Go Boom? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a big favor and give it a like. And if you're not subscribed to Kentucky Ballistics, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Ew!
Now that he's showing off his strength. That first one? Look at the speed. He really hauled that thing. That really shows how strong he is.
Ew!
Someone get this man to Black Mesa. Now. And yeah, I did. Your jaw would certainly be hurting, but not broken. And that's the key thing.
Oh! 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 It's in my mouth! Also, be sure to check me out on Kentucky Customs, Kentucky Ballistics Breakdowns, Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all this can be found in the description down below, along with a link to KentuckyBallistics.com, just in case you want to pick up a shirt. And I'm going to have to pick up one because I ruined mine. And as always, my name is Scott. Thank you so much for watching Kentucky Ballistics. I'll see you next time. That table is bouncy. There you. You're making me look bad.
I mean, Scott, a minigun couldn't take up the table last time. You're going out with a monkey wrench? Come.
Wonder if I can hit my truck with this like a big frisbee. Oh no, no!
I love watching Scott blow shit up. It's always such a good time.